look, when eventually we decide that it's not worth podcasting to all 5 of the listeners out there, and we throw in the towel, we're going to develop an expert app. You download this app, and you broadcast to all your speakers simultaneously. There's no syncing problems. Somehow the speakers miraculously all decode the signal at the same time. They all sound great. That's what we're going to do. So for all those 5 different speakers you've got sitting around your house, you're going to daisy chain them all together. It's going to be like Sonos without Sonos.
It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be, and it's a great way to kick off the 68th episode of the ongoing Series 1, Season 1
Hooray!
of the Overclock_ZA podcast. Actually, we're not called that anymore. We just Overclock ZA.
Yeah.
All the vowels.
Spell it like it sounds. Yeah.
You've obviously found us if you're listening to us. I am Lindsey Schutters, Sharpshooters on social media. SHARPSCHUTTERS. I am that opinion guy on the internet, and I'm joined as always by editor of Tech Magazine, the largest consumer technology magazine in the country on shelf. And his name is Gavin Dudley. Gavin,
Hello!
How was your close to 2019?
Hello, no,
Welcome to 2020.
It's really good to be back. It was like a quiet sort of sliding into the end of the year. I did as much as possible to avoid as many people in as many situations as possible. I played video games at home, which I really have time to do. That was good fun.
We still call them video games, we just call them games now.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, if I say games, you probably assume I'm kicking a soccer ball around in
Yes.
the backyard, so I decided I'd better clarify. Video games, although I do sometimes play video games with my kids as well, which is a lot of fun.
What are you playing with your kids now?
What's it called?
Rocket League.
No. StarCraft. StarCraft 2.
StarCraft making a
Yeah.
comeback.
So I'm actually playing Command and Conquer, a very old game. I think this game is like 10 or 12 years old.
Yes.
I'm playing that by myself, and I play StarCraft with them. I taught them how to play StarCraft, and now they kick my ass. It's terrible.
They'll beat you on Command and Conquer soon.
Oh, man.
The original.
Anyway, I can't play these actual run-and-gun games. My reflexes are just so slow. I never know what the hell's going on. I'm going, dead. you spawn into the game, and you're, oh, what's going on? Dead. Okay, so I can't play those games. Strategy games, I still got it.
Gavin, macro was down.
There's not a whole lot to report on this. It's just interesting that a store as big as that, in the peak of the holiday season, decides to do a software upgrade and it goes sideways, I can just imagine. All the senior staff have gone off on holiday. They've left some juniors to bed something down, and it goes wrong. I mean, a store like that, every day a store like that is closed, is millions and millions of rands, And you'd think that by now they've got such hectic systems in place, especially since the Walmart thing. I mean, Walmart probably hands down the IT policy to them. You'd imagine there's so little that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And yet somehow the tills, the point of sale, all bugger out, and they can't get it up, and they can't get it up. They actually have to close all the stores for a whole day. That's millions and millions of rands lost. I hope they find who's responsible for that kind of thing. I mean, you assume they get it up eventually, and pretty quickly they throw money at it because they're losing so much money. But it's just interesting to know that it's possible for things like that to still go wrong.
So, in proper news, Miss Stella Ndabeni Abrams, Minister of Communications, has been very busy. So, incoming is the cybercrime bill, which is kind of broad-ranging. You will be able to be prosecuted for inciting violence on social media, for instance, all the way to any other invasions of privacy, like in the cyberspace. That's incoming very soon, I think, probably looking at Q2 for this year. And then there's been all this chatter about merging the Film and Publications Board, ICASA, and the ZA Domain Name Authority. Gavin, do you have anything more about
I don't have a whole lot to add on that. I mean, again, sometimes I always get suspicious when things like this happen at the end of the year. It's almost like they're trying to do things where you won't notice them happening. So they decided, right, we're going to flag this, we're going to follow up.
The cybercrime bill's been interesting because that's been developing since February 20, more like November, like 2018.
I must say, if we want to stay on top of global commerce and global everything, it's really important to have strong legislation around this in place.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that those downgrading agencies, those ratings agencies, is the kind of thing they look at when they decide whether you're a proper global economic player or not.
Yeah.
So important for that.
And then possibly the reason why you are listening to this right now is you want to hear about CES. The Consumer Electronics Show kicks off every new tech year in Las Vegas. Quite frosty in Las Vegas this time of year, Gavin. You've been a couple of times.
Yes.
I've been once, halfway, kind of. It was like a 2-day thing.
Okay, it wasn't all that frosty. It's just you always expect that because you're out in the desert, there's just going to be blazing sunshine all the
Yeah.
time, and you're wrong. It gets bloody cold out there.
Gavin, for me, the thing that stuck out the most was for most of 2018 and 2019, LG were rolling out their smart home ecosystem on the back of Google Assistant. In their keynote, where they rolled out their new integrated AI ThinQ, whatever they're calling it now, the name is way too long. They just made no mention of Google, and at the end of the keynote, they're like, "Oh no, this will work with Alexa, and this will have AirPlay 2 also, and
Right.
it can just work with anything that you want." But the AI happens outside of the actual other manufacturer AI.
Okay. So, I mean, the four main players. South Africa's kind of slow to the game here because having artificial intelligence and having these kind of personal assistants in your home and smart home assistants is very dependent on very reliable, fast connectivity in your home. And as we know, South Africa, that's kind of capped. It's very hit and miss. Only a small tier of South African society has that kind of connectivity. So these smart home products have been kind of slow to happen here. But everybody knows about Amazon's Alexa, you know, the Echo speaker that sits in the home that you can use to give voice commands. And we all know how Apple's Siri works. And Apple is seen to be behind the curve of everyone else.
Very much.
And Google's home initiative with its personal assistant in the home has also been a constant talking point. So we've got these 3 or 4 players
That don't work together, but they did come together at the end of last year, in end of 2019, to say that they will be working together on a new standard going forward, which is great for the industry.
The point is that, I mean, last year LG was touting its integration with Google's solution.
Yeah.
This year it's basically making friends with everyone. I think that's par for the course. Nobody knows how the market's going to go, and maybe you are going to have to make friends with everyone.
And then Samsung were quite mum on their Bixby integrations as well. Not a word. Not they were just talking about this generic AI concept and not the name Bixby at all.
Yeah, so see how I didn't name Bixby as one of the big 4 there, you know, which is Apple's Siri and Amazon's Echo, and you know, even Microsoft has Cortana, which has been a bit diminished.
Yeah.
But you see how I don't name Bixby as one of the major players, because frankly, at this stage, it's not.
Then rolling, Gavin, I think TVs are in a holding pattern right now. I don't think we need to care about 8K, because the only 8K content that will be coming out in 2020 is around the Olympics. And there'll be like pockets of little things on YouTube. I think there's deals that YouTube are doing currently now with different manufacturers. There's this push against like just the way we moved away from 3D TV, which I predicted, and we moved away from curved screens, which we've debated in the past, not on this show,
on
the
benefits of it. Yeah.
I've always said it's the dumb thing.
Yes,
Don't buy curved TV.
Yep.
We've moved away from curved TVs.
Yep.
8K is going to be one of those things where it's like the bandwidth is too much right now to pull through. There's no real content available. Don't worry about it. It's like just 4 times. It's like 4 4K TVs arranged in a panel.
It's complicated. It's complicated. I think one of the biggest factors, again, is that there's some argument about whether the human eye can actually discern 8K video as distinguishable from 4K video. So by the time the technology exceeds what's possible in human vision, you know, things are getting quite extreme.
What I like now is this new filmmaker mode that's running out. It's being rolled out. Some standard body has worked with a couple of Hollywood directors, and they've produced this filmmaker mode so you can see the movie. It's kind of like a HDR bastardization, where you can see the movie as the director intended. So it switches off all of the motion smoothing things, which you should be switching off anyway. But yeah, TVs are kind of just like a dead space right now.
Well, I'm interested in how we've made thin film TVs that can actually be rolled up, so they don't have to be displayed in a static panel all the time. This means that instead of that big black square that's dominated your lounge, a big sea change could be coming where the TV rolls up like a screen when you're not using it.
Or tilts into portrait mode, a la the Samsung.
Yes, and turns into a picture portrait or something like that. So I think that could be quite a significant change for TVs which have always been a black box which dominated the lounge. A TV that completely packs itself away, I think, is quite a significant development. That's only possible because of new screen technology.
Yeah, but are people really going to be investing in TVs that much? I don't see it going forward, because everyone's like, phones are getting really good. Like, everyone's just watching things on their laptops because they don't want to buy a smart TV. I've fielded so many smart TV questions over this holiday period. It's actually, and like, my answer is always, there's no such thing as a good Android TV, what's it, set-top box. The Mi Box 2, is it the Mi Box 2?
Yeah.
Is supposed to be the best. And
Okay.
I visited someone who has one,
Ah.
and he needs to restart it every other day, or else things just hang.
No, we're using a cheap ass Android set-top box at home, and it's doing the business for us.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was such an obscure brand that it doesn't get any updates, so we're stuck at sort of Android 6 or something weird like that. But the fact is, it just runs your Netflix, it runs your Amazon. Okay, but we're getting a bit off topic.
Yeah.
On TVs, I'm looking forward to thin film, roll up and pack away TVs. That I think is going to be something real for the next year or two.
I think the age of the smart TV may be over. I think we're just going to have things that cost from our phones. I think our phone will become more
Cost
and
to
more
where?
to like
A dumb
internet-
screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a TV's not that different to a dumb screen. I suppose it's got a bit of computing smarts in it.
Yeah.
Right, we could be casting more from our phones in a more seamless way. Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And I
I've been
think
doing a lot of that.
Just
yeah.
using AI to fetch things off the net.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
like a casting sort of thing.
yeah,
Via
my
your Wi-Fi or your data connection at home. I think that's the way forward.
agreed. I've actually been doing a lot of casting this holiday season when my Amazon app stopped working on my TV.
Yeah.
I just started casting straight
There's
from my
also
phone.
this weird thing because I'm a big believer in like getting the big high value family plans of streaming
Yes.
services. So then you end up in this weird space where like my wife and I watch two of the same shows, but we watch it on her account. So if
Okay.
I go to my account and I try and fire up the thing,
Okay, you
it
can't
doesn't
resume,
know where
yeah.
I am or
Uh-huh.
what I've been watching.
Uh-huh.
So I think as we become more personal in compartmentalized in our streaming habits, it's going to be more important to cast from your personal device to the screen, and it just remembers everything that you've been doing,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
is aware that you have family members, and like in the backgrounds of these
Right.
platforms, it starts like syncing up those feeds.
Yes. I mean, it's quite close to that already. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. I wonder how many people are actually at that level where they've got multiple accounts with multiple streaming services with multiple, profiles for family members, or if we like 1%ers here. You know?
I think we are
wonder.
1%.
Okay.
Yeah, like my daughter's been using YouTube. I've connected her to my Google family
Yeah.
thing, so she has the YouTube Music, YouTube Premium, that sort
No.
of thing, and she has our Apple. She's part of my Apple Music family,
Mm.
and she has Apple Music like on her tablet. But yeah, there's this weird integrations and little glitches where I can't like add her as a friend because she's too young.
Okay.
on
Oh,
Apple
right.
Music,
You're still on the
so I can't see
status.
what she's
Yeah,
listening
yeah.
to.
Okay. Okay. Now, one of my decisions for the year is that I think we're going to take up the YouTube. What's it called?
Premium.
YouTube Premium.
Yes.
The YouTube Premium family plan, which I think is a little over $100, maybe $120,
Yeah.
something like that.
Do yourself a
So
favor,
you
please,
end up
mate.
with ad-free YouTube all the time for all your family users.
I tried
think-
watching ad-supported media.
It just freaked you out.
Yeah,
Ah.
just freaked me out. Man.
See, you keep touting this YouTube music thing, and I
No,
just
YouTube
don't
music-
get it, man. I just don't get it. I just holds no interest for me whatsoever. But premium, ad-free, I know my kids watch a lot of YouTube,
Yeah.
possibly an obscene amount of YouTube. And I do all day for work purposes.
Yes.
It would be it's just a time saver and irritation saver to not have ads. So I'm thinking of investing $120 and then business expensing it. Okay, moving on.
Moving, Samsung. I don't know which one is coming. One of the two are probably going to be the Note Lite that will be coming here.
Okay,
They
so-
launched the Samsung S10 Lite and the Note 10 Lite.
Yeah, this is almost a year after the actual original S10 came out.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that a year later they bring out the light versions as the 11s are due to drop. Yeah, I don't know why they're bringing out a light. I mean,
I don't know. Note 10 Lite intrigues me. It's the S8 Note 8 internal, so it's a Snapdragon 8895.
Because-
Not a Snap, the Exynos 8895.
they
so it's like-
haven't done lights before, right? Huawei always did lights. So you'd have
yes.
a P20 light.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And that
Well,
kind of
they
thing.
used to do like the S or the J series. They used to have.
Who? Samsung.
Yeah, Samsung. They
Yeah,
used to
but
have like
J
a J.
series was the low end, and
Yeah.
then the A series was the middle.
So there was always
bunch.
like a Prime and a Core.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere down the line. But in the A series, they brought out the A30s last year, which was kind of a light version of the A30.
It's getting
That
so
was the Casper
messy,
9.
man.
That's getting to. But I like. Okay, straight up front, the last Exynos processor that did well on battery life for me was the S8. So the
Okay.
S8 from the S9 decreased the battery life from the S8, and the S10 kind of kept it at the same level as the S9. So like for the Exynos 8895 processor to be in the Note 10 Lite, I think that's going to be really good.
Okay.
With a 4,200 milliamp hour battery.
Right,
I think
good
that's
big
gonna be
battery.
Good
Okay.
big battery. You're not going to have all the same power as you have
I
in the
just
Note 10 Lite.
wonder why Samsung is bringing out a light version.
Because they need to get into India.
I think
They need
what
to push
Samsung
India
does
over
is
to-
it doesn't market all these A series phones and all that. It wants you to know it's the industry leader, so it constantly tells you about the S10 and the Note 10. Now you can get the S10 and the Note 10 in the affordable format.
Yes.
Instead of trying to convince you that the A series phones are great.
I like it. I mean,
all their
keep the-
marketing has already gone into the S10 and Note 10. Now they
Note
can
10
just
Lite
give you a
launches
light
on
version.
Android 10, which it will. Or which, I think it might be my next Android device.
I just think it muddies the water so much for consumers, it just becomes confusing. But okay, I think a lot of it's got to do with how they've marketed these brands. But we can move on from that. We'll see when one of those light versions due to land.
I'm not sure. It'll probably come next month, just before the big
Launch of the
big
11th.
launches,
Okay, even more confusing. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Gavin. So, there's been this worrying trend on social media where people are being excluded from other people's feeds. So it's like, you know, the WhatsApp status?
Yes.
So when people are hiding side pieces, they
I see.
they have like a separate stream of users.
You're
where
going to
they,
explain what side pieces are.
I'm not going to
people.
explain
Oh
what side
my
pieces
goodness.
are. There are adults listening to the show, and I'm
Okay.
sure you adults know what a side piece is. So you
Okay.
kind of share a status for like a certain group of friends,
Right.
and then you have like a general status for like other friends.
Oh my goodness.
So
this
and
is
never
like
the two shop. Then I was
double
like, you know what?
lives,
If you
double
reverse engineer
lives.
this and you use it to separate your private and your personal life, I think it's a good tool.
I have enormous problems separating my personal and private life. Right now, my resolution for the year is to participate in social media. I secretly despise social media.
Yes,
the noise ratio.
You followed me on Twitter the other
That's
day.
right. The noise is just so incredible. The value is so diminished for the amount of noise going on, the amount of value you get out of it. But increasingly, one becomes invisible to the world if you're not participating in social
Yeah.
media. So, in my old age, I mean, despite the fact that I actually opened my Twitter account in 2006,
Yes.
which is probably before half of you were born. Okay, my Twitter account dates from
We have
2006.
adults listening to this show, Gavin.
Not many. And that's when I started playing social media. It just got boring and it just wasn't interesting anymore. And now I've gone back to it just because it's become professionally important to do so. And I find that in my personal capacity, it's very hard to share professional opinions because you're dealing with all these different markets. You know,
Yeah.
there's the friends who don't really understand why you believe what you believe
Yes.
about, let's say, Apple. And then there's the tech fraternity who doesn't really understand why you believe what you believe about environmental
Yeah.
issues. You know, that's kind of like really complicated for me, I'm finding.
But you can get in trouble. Like,
No,
I've
usually,
personally,
I've
professionally gotten in trouble.
I've already deleted 2 tweets because I thought they were just casual tweets, and then when I reread them in a political context, they were like, whoa. So it's complicated.
So
yeah.
my fix is to have multiple social media accounts.
Oh my goodness.
You have a professional account, like where you are.
Okay, let's
whatever
use an
your-
example.
your
Let's
actual-
say Instagram or Twitter. Let's say Twitter.
Yeah, so
okay.
Instagram.
Instagram,
Instagram's a
right,
good place.
okay,
No
okay.
one uses Twitter anymore.
All right.
Twitter's a toxic place.
Okay, right. So you're on Instagram.
Although I do use Twitter.
Now
You can
you've
come
got-
fight me on Twitter. I like fighting with people on Twitter.
That's at Sharpshooters.
Yes,
Yeah.
sharpshooters.
Okay.
So Instagram, you have your account,
Mm.
like where you portray like maybe your family life, however much you want to, just like you in a very good light.
Okay. Okay.
And then you have like a Finsta, which is like a fake Instagram account where you just like go ratchet as you want to be.
Okay. In case you didn't get that, Finster, Finster. That's like
A-
Instagram with an F in the front.
Yeah.
Finster. Okay, it's a fake Instagram account. Yeah.
And then you have like another thing like for maybe your creative outputs.
Mm.
So if you like photography, you're an amateur photographer.
But then you can never aggregate your traffic together. You don't know how much you're loved.
No, but you don't need to aggregate your traffic together.
I think you've got a split personality problem, Lindsay, and it's coming out
I
on
think
Instagram.
I'm just creating content that lives better in different spheres of my life.
Schizophrenic
So
freak.
like that opinion guy one is more driven, where I'm like really testing the limits of whatever phone I'm reviewing or whatever piece
Okay.
of tech I'm using
Okay.
within context
Right.
and give an explanation why. So like
Okay.
beautiful images, or I'm posting like whatever I'm putting up on the blog. If there's
Ah.
something interesting, there's a nice visual that comes along with that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing there. Whereas like Sharpshooters is me at my most raw, where it's like anything that it's my life through my filter. That's the way I couch it.
Okay. I mean, I wonder where millennials and where Gen Z stand on this. I wonder if they've also got
I don't know.
fragmented accounts.
Strangely enough, what I've been seeing a lot, I've been noticing a lot, like people like out there in the wild doing TikTok, like making TikTok content. We were at Stodel's. There's a nice play park
Nursery,
there. Yeah, the nursery, and having lunch with my family. And then these two girls on the jungle gym, and the one like stood on top, and the other one like positioned the phone.
Oh my goodness!
And then they're doing this whole synchron. And I saw them.
How old are they? Like 10 or they're younger?
Probably about 12, 13.
Jeez. Okay.
And I saw them rehearsing the choreography,
okay.
and then they played it out. And they had like maybe 3 or 4 takes before they settled like on one that was the one.
That is just so impressive, man.
The commitment to content creation right now, amateur content creation, is insane. And I think we need multiple social media accounts to cater to our multiple facets of our personalities. That's me going into 2020. That's sort of energy I'm going to compartmentalize your life.
See, I'm trying to do the opposite. You know, I can barely participate in social media. I've got all these people who are trying to make friends with me on Facebook, and I've already presented a false face to these people. So now I can't make friends with them on Facebook because else they're going to find out who I really am. And that's going to be a problem. You know? It's like, you know, I don't want my family to be my friends on Facebook, because on Facebook I can mouth off about stuff, and stuff I can't really bring up at dinner with these people.
Even with my kids, like I want to cease being a sharent in 2020 as well.
There you go.
My daughter already has, I mean, for about a year or two now, she's been having issues with like taking pictures. Like she never really wants to show her face on pictures and stuff. And I've become very sensitive to that as well.
Okay.
My son's face is still changing. I mean, he's quite young. In 2 years' time, he'll look a lot different than he does now. So he's still fine, and he does cute things, and he loves playing up for a camera.
All right, okay.
But yeah, like moving more of that into time-sensitive spaces, so like into stories, into those 24-hour sort of blocks, and not archiving these things that kind of are identity markers for them as well.
It just all seems like way too much trouble for me, man. The biggest problem is work colleagues who want to be friends on Facebook.
Yes.
I promise you, these people don't really want to know what I think about the world. They really don't. What they want, they just want my work persona to keep going, and unfortunately, there's massive duality there.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Gavin, but I want to talk about Chromebooks. I know this is boring.
Back to school. We are back to school.
So for those who don't know what a Chromebook is, it's like a laptop light, not physically light as in kilograms. What it is
although Samsung did put out the lightest Chromebook at CES.
Yes, okay. Chromebooks can be very light in weight as well, but the reason I call them light is because they don't have the regular Windows operating system. They use a special operating system which Google developed called Chrome OS, which it looks and feels a little bit like Android, actually. It's a close relative of Android
stuff. You can use Android apps.
It's a close relative of Android, actually, except that it's designed to work on PCs. So now you have this laptop running Chrome OS.
So it's pretty much the browser and then the web apps from the browser.
Yes, and it works the same way. You know, you click on things, you run applications, blah, blah, blah. And probably the single most important difference is that it relies heavily on you being connected to the internet. So it uses a lot of cloud services, it uses all the Google services, and it really wants to keep your documents in the cloud, open your documents from the cloud, save your documents to the cloud. So you need really good connectivity all the time to keep things going. It can work without connectivity, but that's not how it's designed to work. So it's not a high processing, well, in general, not a powerful PC as we would regard a powerful PC. That's not its function. Its function is to do basic office work, writing, bit of web surfing. I think if you're trying to put together complex clips in a PowerPoint presentation, it'll handle that, but that's not really what it's trying to do. Schools love them because they're extremely secure. Windows, as we know, is extremely insecure. Chrome OS is very secure, and it updates automatically in the background all the time. All the security holes get closed automatically all the time because it's Chrome OS and it's just using the internet all the time to keep itself up to date. So, you know, schools love it. It's easier to administer. It's easy to have multiple users on a single device, very secure, and so on. What are the limitations of Chromebooks, Lindsey?
No Windows functionality.
Right. Okay, so no Outlook for you. I think obviously because Microsoft now does have great web apps, you can run Microsoft apps in a web browser very effectively.
Yes.
And I mean the Android apps, will the Android apps run? I wonder. I wonder
Yes,
if they've got
most of
Chromebook
the-
apps. Yeah.
Yeah. The Project Marzipan was the big thing too. Was it Marzipan? I forget.
Okay.
No, Marzipan is Apple thing. I forget what they called it. Anyway, it was amalgamating like the Android platform and the Chromebook platform, so you can run
Right, yes.
most of the Play Store apps on a Chromebook right now.
Right.
As far as I know, the limitations for me is it's just never been a powerful enough Chromebook out there. Chrome is kind of becoming very resource intensive, and especially when you're scaling it up to that point where everything is like basically a web app. It's just eating and eating and eating into RAM and
Yes, yes.
memory resources.
I mean, web apps are quite resource intensive.
Yeah.
Browser windows are actually remarkably resource intensive.
Yeah.
So just opening more and more browser windows
What I
chews up
found
your
is-
processing power and your
since
RAM.
we're on this topic now, I was running a project with a couple of people up in Joburg through December, where I effectively then just turned a folder structure in my OneDrive folder into a mini server that we're all collaborating on.
Yeah.
Which worked out great because the client wanted stuff in Microsoft Word.
Okay, so now you've got all the data that you need for this project stored in the cloud and shared with all the parties that
and
need
everyone
to
can
participate.
collaborate
Yeah, so
across.
people can upload, can edit, can change, can download.
Yeah.
All from a cloud folder.
And
yeah.
that worked great. I think there are still tools that Microsoft are adding right now. Their new mobile apps.
But you're getting a bit of the Chromebook thing. So
I want to move away from the
Okay,
Chromebook
no,
thing.
but
'cause-
if a school, the reason I want to deal with this is a back to school issue. I think a lot of schools are asking parents to get Chromebooks, and
I
parents
think-
are arguing, I want to get a tablet.
what I've
you know.
seen is a lot of schools are mandating electronic devices. So like a tablet or a Windows machine or a Chromebook. And
I
then
see,
they
they're
use
giving you
it,
the choice,
they're
yeah.
administering through Google Classroom. So you can use your Google account and all the Google stuff.
I see, and that
Google
will
apps.
work almost equally well across a tablet,
Yes.
which you might want to pair with a
Yeah.
keyboard, or a Chromebook,
Yeah.
or a Windows
Yes.
PC running
Yeah.
Google application in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the big thing is like what platform your school is on. If they are you'll get Microsoft schools and you'll get Apple schools, which there are very few in South Africa.
For good reason. Yeah, it's a
Um,
very
there's
expensive
more
barrier to
Microsoft
entry.
education ones, but there they'll have like extensive computer labs.
Yeah, yeah.
With there'll be and then you get like most people are on Google Classroom.
Okay.
So that is a plugin that you can then just add in via an app or the Google App Suite.
Okay.
So you get added to the G Suite. It's like a G
Okay,
Suite.
yes,
but
yes,
for
yes.
schools.
G Suite's Google's whole suite of
Yeah.
all its applications all tied up nicely
But
together.
I've seen
You can pay
a
for that.
lot of
and-
schools are running like I see D6 have now finally released a proper app. They're not
I don't
just
know
a
what
web app.
D6 is.
It's a communicator thing where the school can send communications to all parents instead of like sending out
You're
newsletters.
quite
and
well
stuff.
versed, eh?
Dude, my
Jeez.
kids are very much school going.
No, but so am I. But I don't know D6. Okay.
deep in those things.
Okay, in the admin. Okay, fine.
And then I've seen a lot of schools who run like WhatsApp groups for different classes.
Okay, so short answer: do you want to get your kid a basic laptop, a Chromebook, or tablet?
I don't.
Let's say your
think-
budget's 10.
I don't think Chromebooks.
No, your
are,
budget's not 10. Your budget's 8.
You're right. Your budget's about eight or
yeah.
five even.
Okay, call
Like
it
that's-
6. Let's call it 6. Okay.
For that, again, I'm gonna say an iPad.
Yeah.
And iPad OS.
Yeah.
Has made it good enough for a lot of that stuff.
Okay. In this instance, I'm going along with Lindsey. Actually, I do think the iPad is a remarkable machine.
Yeah.
Actually, so the entry level for a full-sized iPad, that's like a 10-inch size screen, is now $6,000. It doesn't have the top tech in it, but it's got excellent tech in it
Yeah.
regardless. Great quality screen, all these things, and you're going to want to pair that up with a keyboard.
Yeah.
Your one limitation is you might not get great mouse control on that. The iPads are notoriously bad with plugging in mouses. I don't dig it.
Right now they use a Bluetooth sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't dig it.
It's-
You don't get a proper pointer or anything.
It's weird. It's weird, man.
Okay.
Following on that, that's about it. I think
Okay.
most of the platforms have their great integrations, cloud integrations. I think the best thing you can do for yourself in 2020 is get a decent cloud account, so you can sync documents across
Okay.
most things.
Yes, my short answer is if your budget is $6,000 to send your child back to school with a digital device, do not buy a $6,000 laptop. You're going to buy absolute rubbish at that price. In fact, anything below $8,000 is pretty much rubbish.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would try and get to $9,000 $9,000 to get a great laptop that's light, that's easy for them to carry,
Yeah.
that's got full spec, at least 8 gig RAM and so on. I'd go for
Yeah.
$8,000 to $9,000 laptop if you can possibly achieve that. If you're stuck at $6,000, you've got to go with an iPad,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And
Chromebooks we don't really get in this country right now.
yeah,
It's
Acer
like-
brings them in, and Asus brings in one or two every now and then, but Acer has kind of dominated the market. I think they market them
Yeah.
to schools, yeah.
Like my kid is at a school where they use Chromebooks
Uh-huh.
in like a computer lab sort of
Mm.
situation. And yeah, I've been talking to the back end of that, and their sourcing for that is just terrible right now.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like grey importing and
Yeah, I think people are looking at how Chromebooks have worked in the US and trying
Yeah.
to imagine it's going to work like that
Yeah.
here, and it just doesn't
Our
work
data
like that here.
connectivity
Yeah.
habits
So
are not the
if
same.
you're looking at $6,000 for your kid going back to school, I think you've got to go with an iPad. I wouldn't consider any other tablet, by the way. Windows tablets, no. Android
Yeah.
tablets, no. You're going to be tempted to do that. If I were you, I would just go with the Apple iPad entry-level model at $6,000, and maybe spin off another couple of $100 for a good cover and a good keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Gavin, predictions for the next year or the next
Oh
decade?
my goodness.
I'm gonna swing. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
swing
goodness.
For the fences.
Okay.
I'm gonna steal a bit from Cara Swisher right now,
Uh-huh.
where I think the smartphone is not going to be with us at the end of this decade.
Ooh, okay, no, sure, the end of the decade. No, sure. I mean, I think 2 or 3 years we'll already see its diminished role. It'll end up
Yeah.
being docked with other devices. It'll end up getting much smaller because we won't actually be using the screen on the phone nearly as much,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Sure, I can go along with that.
Yeah. I think this year is going to be the year of the foldable.
Yes,
But
yes.
for me, I think the two separate screens, as we discussed
Yeah.
before, when I wanted to start rolling this episode, I think the split screen sort of foldable is the way forward.
You think?
Where you can dock the device into another device and you have two screens then when
okay.
you need it. I don't think everyone likes the idea of like a big screen that you can collapse into a smaller
Yeah,
form factor,
yeah.
but I don't see the practicality.
You see
going
two
forward.
autonomous
I
little
see two
screens that can
autonomous.
be made to work
Yeah.
together, but they'll
Just
probably
the
be used
fragility
separately.
of having like one
Okay.
big device is
Okay.
is a
Again, I mean,
problem.
I think what we're talking about, we were skeptical about these folding devices all along, but increasingly I'm starting to see a play for a big screen device that folds into your pocket.
Yeah.
Whether that works as two separate individual screens or whether it blends into a single screen, I am seeing a role for a big screen device in your pocket, which I didn't see at the beginning of this beginning of last year. Let me say.
Okay.
So that's a real possibility. I am looking at mainstreaming of cloud services this year, where even regular folks in the street start using
Yeah.
cloud services and understand what they're doing.
And streaming music.
Yeah, okay, and streaming music and knowing that everything's stored in the cloud, which means that USB ports on TVs become less important
Yeah.
because a lot more streaming is happening through the cloud. What else? What else am I thinking?
There was
I'm
this
very
weird thing I
interested-
noticed. There was a car that I know is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatible.
Yeah.
Parked next to me, or at least I parked next to it in a Pick and Pay parking lot,
Uh-huh.
and there was a USB drive stuck into this thing's
Dashboard.
USB port, and I was like, "Wow, that is weird."
You mean it's got Bluetooth, but he's plugging in a USB. I
Yeah,
don't understand.
he can
Oh,
plug
okay.
in his phone and use
Yeah,
his streaming services
Yeah.
on his head unit, but he has plugged in a thumb drive, and there's obviously music stored on that.
Maybe his wife gave him a playlist for Christmas on a flash.
Wow. For me, it's just too much trouble to download shit nowadays.
Yeah, and then you plug in the USB